today we're going to do a drawing and a painting about the Frog Prince. Now, the Frog Prince is a folk tale that has been told for many years in all different countries, all different languages, with little twists depending on where you read it. And it always involves the spirit of a prince being trapped inside of a frog or toad. And it's kind of fun to imagine and put your own spin on fairy tales. So that's what we're going to do today. Before I show you our little spin that we're going to try, I kind of wanted to also show you this book that I have. This is a book of Korean folk tales. And wouldn't you know it, they even have their own spin on the Frog Prince. And so this one's called The Toad Bridegroom, but it's the same sort of gist. I'll just kind of flip to the end just so you can see. In the very end, the prince comes out of the frog, or the toad. So we're gonna put our own spin on it today, and then I hope that you put your spin on it and show me what you got. So let's get started. For our Frog Prince, we're going to be focusing on shape for the element of art and balance for the principle of art. Now, there's many different ways to show balance, and so I'm going to show you two different ways today. I'm going to show you symmetrical and asymmetrical. Now, symmetrical balance is when things are equal on each side, right? So if you draw a line down the center, it will be the same on this side as it is on this side. So I'm going to show you that first. And you can draw with whatever you have at home. I like to draw with Sharpie, but today I'm going to demonstrate a couple of different tools. I'm going to show you crayon, and I'm going to show you oil pastel. These are great tools to use when you paint because they both make a sort of wall that helps keep the paint inside the shape that you're trying to paint in. Because crayons are made out of wax and oil pastels are made out of oil. These tools are also really fun because you press hard with them, and that is a good feeling. Sometimes we need to feel like we press hard on something. With most art tools, we want to be very gentle, but these are fun to be hard with. So I'm going to start with oil pastel, and before I pick it up, I'm going to show you my hand because I've already been oil pasteling a little bit. You can see that oil pastels are a little bit messy. So let's start our symmetrical Frog Prince. I'm going to start in the center with two big eyes. Frogs have pretty big eyes, right? So 1 and 2. And I'm going to add the pupils, and I'm going to make my Frog Prince kind of looking to the side. And if your eyeballs aren't exactly the same, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's a fairy tale frog anyways, right? Then I'm going to leave a little space and come down and do the legs. We don't want to do stick legs. We want to make sure we're doing shape legs. So let me show you how to do that. If you draw the number 11 and then connect it at the bottom, I'm going to do zigzag. And you'll have a nice shape leg. You could do a different style of foot if you wanted to. Number 11 and connect it. All right, now we're going to turn that frog into an actual frog by making his body. So we're going to do a C line starting from the mid part of his eye down to where his foot starts. And then we're going to do a backwards one on this side. And then we need to connect it in the center. All right, then we're going to do a big happy face. You can do any kind of mouth you want. I'm going to do a happy face. Okay. If you want to, you could do a tongue. Now, if you do a tongue on the outs or the side, technically it won't be symmetrically balanced, but you don't have to make yours. Right now, ours is balanced still because it's equal on both sides. All right, now we're going to make a sort of squished C line for the long frog legs. Start from one side, about halfway up the side of his body. And go down to the feet. And you'll just see the top part of his feet kind of sticking out. So maybe a little zigzag line. So you're starting to see how when we do something on one side, then we do it the same way on the other side. So that makes our drawing symmetrically balanced. Now, before I keep going, I will say you could add some details on your frog. Lots of frogs have polka dots and stripes and other organic shapes designed on their body to help camouflage them into the environment. Or you could just keep it plain, that's fine too. I'm gonna move on to my crown. So I'm going to draw a line. I have a lot of space, so I'm gonna give this guy a really big crown. Right, I'm gonna give him a really tall crown. And I'm just gonna do a nice zigzag crown because that's fun. Oh, that's great. And then maybe a diamond in the center. You could add some different jewels if you like. Next, I'm gonna draw an oval at the bottom, and that's gonna be the lily pad that he's sitting on, okay? Now you won't see the whole lily pad because he's sitting on it, so we just have to imagine that it's behind. Next, we're gonna put the water in the background to give him space to be in. And he's not in the ocean, so we don't want like giant waves. Maybe just like, you could do a straight line or just like a little wiggles in the background. Fun. Okay, and I think we have a little more space. So maybe to fully balance it out, and I didn't put my frog right in the center, but that's okay. You'll just have to go, that's okay, Mrs. Dran. Let's add maybe a couple plants in the background just to give it a little more dimension. So if we're gonna make it balanced, we need to do the same thing on both sides. So I'm gonna add something, maybe just one of these little, and then a short one on either side. Just like a little, I don't know, swamp style foliage. You could choose to add something else, like a couple of flies would be fun, right? A prince eating a fly, that's funny. So then after that, you can paint. So let me show you a couple of other different styles that you could do. So this would be, if I trimmed this paper right here, this would be a symmetrically balanced, right? Frog. So let me show you another one I did with a Sharpie pen. Now this one isn't finished yet, but this one is not. This is asymmetrical, right? So it's still balanced, and I'm gonna show you why. Even though my frog prince is over here, right, not in the center, it's balanced out by this extra foliage and tree scene on this side. You see how when you're looking at it, your eye sort of just kind of moves around a little bit, right? Hopefully. And maybe I should, because there's a lot of small details. Now for this one, I haven't even started with coloring it yet, but I think if you draw something with small details like this, you're gonna wanna probably use color pencils, maybe some watercolor with that. I would avoid using anything like really thick, like oil pastels or crayons maybe would not be a good choice for coloring this. So here's a sample that is asymmetrically balanced, okay? I'm gonna show you one more. This is the one I'm gonna paint today. And this one I did in crayon, okay? And this one, what I did before I painted, I chose a couple areas that I colored in crayon already. And when I go to paint, the crayon will resist the paint and it will give sort of a cool design. In the water too, I did some white lines with crayon, and you won't be able to see them until I paint, but that will be kind of cool looking. And then for the crown, I thought, oh, it might be kind of fun to make a crown out of something else. So I took a box of crackers and I cut out a crown. This is the back of the crown, right? I cut out a crown from a box of crackers, and then I took some foil and I wrapped it around the crown. So I've got a crown here. I had some little jewels, so I popped the jewels on there. So after I'm done painting, I'll glue my little my little cracker box crown there. So you could really have some fun and do some different frog prints style things. You could even make them not a frog prints. So some different frog art. Try to focus on balance. Make sure that we're using our shapes, spreading them out, and have fun. I can't wait to see your guys' frog prints. Happy creating. Bye.